a lot of times people look for big plants. They're not necessarily interested in the size pot they're in. But the thing is, a good rule of thumb is you don't want a plant that is more than about 2 to 3 times the top for what the pot size is. So, you know, if you have a pot like this, you can see how tall that pot is and how wide that pot is. If you have a plant that's more than, say, 2.5 feet tall, it's probably quite root bound in that little pot, and you should really be looking for a plant maybe that same size but in a bigger pot. It's going to have healthier roots. Why don't you dump that right in here, because you got just the right amount in there.
Now I notice you're pouring the soil in there freely. You're not packing it in around
right.
the bulb.
When we water these in afterwards, that will actually get out any air bubbles and pack everything down. This way, you're not packing your roots together. You know, because there again, we want the roots to be able to grow out fast and freely. There,
yay!
look at that. And basically that right there. Now granted, we might end up, if it's an early spring, we'll have people coming in looking for these things already, because irises are, especially here in the north, really wonderful hardy perennial. People will start coming in looking for these things already probably in about a month and a half from now, if the weather is nice. If the weather's not nice, it'll be a while.
Now, you know what question I'm about to ask, because I've asked it every time we've came and potted up plants.
Yes, no, it's not an herb.
Are there any types of edibles that come like this?
Yes, there are. I honestly don't know if we have any in this particular batch here, but when we get across, as we get closer to the actual growing season, we'll have loads of stuff. And we've got things that we've overwintered out in our garden center. Things like thyme and sage, which are very popular kitchen herbs. And even as far north as where we are, they are perennial, and they will come back year after year, and they are wonderful plants. Okay, look out, Donald. I've got my bamboo stick now.
Ooh.
Yeah. Because we got a little trick with getting some of these guys out, because some of them are rooted so well they don't really want to pop up. But of course they have holes in the bottom of these, so we can get a bamboo stick in there and pop these little babies out. Because obviously we don't want to hurt the plants, we don't want to hurt the roots. Because I mean, look at the roots on these plants. They are just absolutely gorgeous. And these things are going to make huge, healthy, beautiful plants. And you know, it's one of these things. This takes a little bit more time and a little bit more effort for us to do it this way. I mean, we could buy plants in that are ready to go. You know, just buy them in and sell them out. The thing is this time of the year, early March, we do have a little bit more time on our hands. But B, we just get, these are such nice, healthy plants. And we can pot these up the way we want to see them potted up. If we were putting them in our own garden.
Now let's back up for a moment. These are being grown from bulbs. Now, if you were going to propagate these at home for yourself, how would you go about getting them to this point where they're ready to be potted up?
You'd end up digging, you know, these guys here, it's very tough to see because these are not mature enough yet that you'd really want to do it. But see, as they're growing along and as they get bigger, you'll see that, you know, these new little shoots off of these are actually, I think technically they consider these a rhizome. We're going to try not to get too technical, because you know what, you know, unless you're in a botany class, you really don't need to know that it's a rhizome. But in fact, here you can see, as last fall, see that slice mark right there? That's where someone took this plant off of a larger tuber. They just cut it off. It basically had a tip, you know, a green tip growing on it. So they were able just to cut it off, set it up, you know, in some rooting compound and, you know, in the right storage conditions. And they probably put these to sleep probably last October, and then shipped them out now. And this is what you have. You have a plant that, for the most part, has continued, even over the winter in cold storage, has continued to grow root all season long, and now is ready to go. The tuber itself has enlarged. You know, you have the tops that are growing on them, and probably in about another year to 2 years, some of these tips off here will end up growing out, and you'd probably be able to do the same thing. Dig the plant up, divide it, and then replant it. We do that with a number of the plants that we have here, like hostas. You know, in the fall, before we pack them all away for winter, we take the hostas out of the 3-gallon pots that they're in. We take them out, depending on how root bound they are at the time, we'll either divide them into 2 or 3 pieces and repot them into 3-gallon pots. By springtime, resting under the snow, those 3-gallon pots are completely filled with root already, and as soon as the weather warms up, those hostas are ready to go. And they come shooting up, and they look even better than they did the previous year, because now the roots have had time to grow out and flourish.
With enough time and effort, you can actually make many more of your own.
Well,
Yeah, but the thing is, if everyone did their own and they didn't have to go buy any, we wouldn't be around. So don't tell them not to go buy them.
well, the whole thing is people don't want to take the time.
You know, it's one of these things. The other thing is too is the fact you want to make sure you get quality plants. You know, a lot of people, they just go and they fall in love with something that looks beautiful at that very moment in that very garden center when they're walking through. They don't take the time to find out, does it grow well in the area where I want to plant it? Does it survive the winters where I live? You know, is it eventually going to get 25 feet tall when I only have room for a 6-foot plant? There's a lot of things that go into picking the right plant for a particular area. Yeah.
Of course I'm not on camera yet.
You need to be.
No, because he wants to make a
I'm too
magnificent
sexy
present.
for my body. I can't be on camera.
Oh my
He
God.
wants to make a magnificent
If I went through the
presence.
insecurities of mine, yeah.
Yeah, well, while we were potting these up, we were discussing the fact that we overlooked a very important piece of information, which makes bulb planting very relevant to our video series. And that is that flower bulbs were used as a form of currency in some cultures in ages past.
Yep,
These
and,
are-
and that's one of those obscure facts that Don made sure that we mentioned on air. You know, being that these have absolutely no food or medicinal value, but they do have, you know, it's like anything else, value and beauty.
Well, it has an aesthetic value.
And the thing is I don't know, you know, maybe we'll get a comment from someone or whatever saying that, you know, gee whiz, you know, you can use iris to treat this or that. I don't know.
It could be an herbal use.
You know, if anyone wants to post comments out there on any of the stuff that we do, please do.
A little video of your insecurities that you were talking about.
This is me, insecure. Just like
Okay.
Dawn. Now give me the camera because I'm shooting you.
No, you have to take pictures of Angie's done up nails with the dirt in the hands. Now,
See?
yeah,
Yes.
right. She
See that?
tries. You know, she wants to look all nice and feminine and stuff like that the moment she walks out the door. But boy, I tell you what, unlike most women who have fingernails done up like this, she ain't afraid to get her hands in the mud.
Well,
This-
I'm definitely, you know, it's okay.
She's
I believe getting dirty is good. Dirty is good. Getting clean is even better.
Outstanding.
Angie's a dirty girl. Okay. Yep. This is our cameraman Don,
That's right.
and
I put the hat on to conceal my horns, and I forgot my trident at home. So today I have to carry a fork with 4 points.
hey, carries a pitchfork.
That's right.
He's getting ready for the New World Order.
Outstanding. Okay, this is what that flat of flower bulbs amounts to after they all get potted up. That's a lot of iris right there.
All that out of one little box.
All of that out of this.